welcome back to Odessa Rose Creates. Today we're finishing our vintage truck project, I should say, that I am creating for a customer. Her name is Carol, and she liked the first vintage truck I made. I call it a boho style. It has like this kind of fun geometric paper on it. Looks like tile, and so we're doing one for her and a little bit different paper and colors. And then we're also doing all the vintage truck add-ons to go with it. So we're going to change out, here I glued on this little fabric carrot I made, but for her we are going to, and I already did this yesterday, so if you missed yesterday's live, go check that out. That's when I created the actual add-ons for the different seasons and the actual truck where we put this paper pattern on it and the stripe here on the sides and the top. We're not quite done with this. We got to vintage it down a little bit and put on some gold shimmer wax product on it in little areas and just kind of jazz it up a little bit. And then today we are going to make the bases for it, and each side of the base will have a different seasonal comment on it. There's one, farm fresh produce, welcome autumn, over the river and through the woods for winter, and then loads of love for Valentine's Day. And so to coordinate with those, we have pumpkins and watermelons, a tree for over the river, and hearts. So those will be setting on the back of the truck to coordinate with the saying that we're going to put on here. Okay, so let me just I gotta reply to this message. Miss Donna is made me some shirts. Do you want to meet at one there somewhere? Okay, all right, I'll answer that later. All right, so let's get started. I'm gonna actually brush a little bit of paint, water down some paint, give these a little bit of color to them, just so they kind of make a base color to this. Just darken them up a little bit. So let's do that first. And I'm going to do like a little bit of browns and grays just to kind of darken them. Also, she sent me a picture of her carpet, or her area rug in her living room. And you can see this wonderful chest that she's using as a coffee table. It has that worn look, so we kind of mimicking that too on our truck, and then we're kind of using this as our color palette. So I kind of just want to darken the bases down so they contrast up against this. She's going to, I think, set them here on this coffee table. So I just kind of want to tone that bar that the truck's going to set on a little bit and just darken it a little bit. So we're going to do that with some paint, some craft paint. I'm going to pull up a piece of cardboard to work on. And get some room here. And I got some browns and grays. I'm not sure exactly which ones I'm going to use. Even a little bit of mustard color in case I want to use that. Okay, so let's just get started with a wet brush. And I'm going to throw in some brown on first. This is a brand new one. This is Real Brown, it's called, by Folk Art. I haven't used this color yet. I go through browns a lot, so I try to get different shades of browns. If I can get the plastic off. I should hop on here on my iPad and see who's watching today. Say hello. Here we are. Ba-ba-da. Hi Morgan. Hi Vicky. Good morning, Julianne. So yeah, if you missed yesterday's live of us making the truck and the little produce that go in the back, please go check that out. Say hello when you're on there and comment, so kind of helps spread that video around a little bit. So I'm just going to squirt some on a wet brush. So like that much. And just kind of, and then I like to use a lot of water because they're kind of basically like staining it. So if you just use some wet paint, you can just kind of go over it. And then I'll probably put a little bit of gray on it too. I'm going to do the ends. Just keep wetting my brush. Because like I said, you just kind of want it to be a stain. A little bit more for the ends over here. I'm just going to do this fairly quick. We'll dry it with the heat gun so we can go ahead and continue on creating on these pieces of wood. These are the bases for the vintage truck. I already sanded them. They came in a white wash finish, and I sanded them down and along the edges and a little bit on the flat sides to expose that wood tone that's underneath. So just continue staining with watered down craft paint. Kind of want it to look like weathered wood, weathered painted wood, I should say. Okay. I like to do this because, you know, it doesn't have to be perfect. You can be a little messy with it, and that's what gives it all the character. I'm just going to keep going around. That's why I save all the cardboard in our packaging so I can use it to paint on. Okay, now I'm going to switch over to a gray. This is kind of a light gray. I'm going to have a darker gray, medium gray it's called. I'm just going to do a little bit of this in it. Doesn't have to be much. And this really gives it that weathered look when you add the gray, I think. Have you guys done the whole set of the vintage trucks and the add-ons? If you are a chalker, have you done any yet? I've only did the truck in one base before. This is the first time I've done all the little produce pieces, the watermelon and pumpkins. But they're really cute. And of course, you can do them just paint out, just straight out chalk on the white. You don't have to do this whole vintage look if you don't want it. That's the great thing about creating and crafting. Of course, you get to do it the way you want it. Brush it on a little bit more gray, water it down. Stand that on the end so I can not have everything sticking. The end is going to be easier to fix than the sides if I get sticky paint. Okay. Turn around here. I can remember whenever time I antique something, I think of when I was a kid. My mom had this like desk, and it was white, and she must have painted it white. I don't remember, but she antiqued it with like some stain, I guess. I don't even remember how she did it. And I always thought, well, why would you want to antique? Why would you want something to look old? Something new to look old? Who knew that I would be? And that was even more of a thing now than it was back in probably the 70s. Now it's like almost tons of furniture is antiqued, worn, sand down. She didn't even sand it down. She just did the antiquing. So it's just funny how it continues on. If you get any drips, just kind of brush them out as we dry here. Hi, Nancy. Good morning, Susan. Good morning, Susan. Who else is saying hello? Denise, Anna, Julian, Vicky. Good morning all. Hope you're having a great day so far. I'm on a little bit earlier than normal. Miss Haley's going to take the grandkids to the older two to a splash pad park this morning, and I gotta stay back and watch the little baby, so I want to hurry up and get this done so they can go do that. This is pretty warm already. I'm not quite done with the truck. I'm going to put a little bit of stained wax on it and kind of tone down that sage green paste so it looks a little more antique. And I'm going to put a little of the gold wax. I have 2 shades of it. It's called Metallic Luster. It's by Deco Art. Okay. And I usually just apply it with my finger. And I've done it here. It's hard to see it, but it kind of shimmers. I just put like little streaks of it. Can you see it? It's hard to show, but it looks really good. Just kind of gives it that little boho vibe that I like to go for. So when I got the truck and these add-ons, I sanded them with my electric hand sander and kind of took some of that white finish off and exposed the wood underneath and kind of rounded the edges, the sharp corners, softened them up a little bit so they look more vintage and more weathered. And then now we're adding washed on some brown craft paint and some gray craft paint. So now they're going to be more weathered looking. Super easy to do. And now I'm just drying that paint so I can apply our transfers. Alright. Okay, I'm going to show you a brand new one so you know what it looks like when it comes. So here they are brand new in that whitewash. Got the wood tone to it. And so here it is after I distressed it and antiqued it, weathered it, just with hand sander and paint. Okay, so that's the difference between the old and the new, or I should say the new and the new. And these are the little add-on pieces that we went ahead and chalked on. I did sand those down too. You can see where it's sanded, and then I added our hearts and trees and our watermelons and pumpkins. Okay, now the tops I couldn't sand very well, but I'm going to brush, I think I'm going to brush on some gold craft paint, and so we don't have that stark white. So I'm going to put on a little bit of gold right here, and we'll do that now. I'm going to let these set aside so they can just still maybe dry a little bit while we finish our little add-ons here in our truck. I'm going to age this down a little bit so that green isn't quite so bright. We want to kind of tone that down and dirty it up a little bit. So I'm going to move this just in case there's paint on this. We don't want it on our truck. Okay. So I'm going to put some stained wax on it, okay? And then we're going to tone down that green a little bit. It's just a little too bright. So if you take some stained wax, this is Minwax brand, but there are other brands of wax out there. And I'm just going to brush it over the green, or rub it over the green. And that just kind of knocks that brightness down a little bit. So we want it to be, you know, in the same family of being vintage as the whole rest of the truck, right? So just dirtying it up, basically. So there it is, bright, and there it is, dulled. You can see the difference. Bright, and then dulled down a little bit. So now we're gonna dull it down on this side. What I also like to do, or the advantage of using a stained wax, is, you know, our chalk paste is raised up ever so slightly, and sometimes it can kind of, dark wax will, any wax will, but you'll notice it more with the dark wax, that it kind of will hug along the edges of your chalk paste, and so it kind of makes those lines pop out a little bit more, like down in here. The paste will kind of, or the wax will kind of, you know, come up to the edge. You can feel this is raised right here. It's edged. And so it just kind of ever so slightly collects along the edges of the chalk paste, and therefore kind of makes everything pop out a little bit more, if that makes sense. Yeah, I can see it back in here especially. You'll notice it more as you work with it. You'll know what I'm talking about. Okay. All right. So kind of age down that sage. It doesn't look quite so neon now. Looks a little bit better. Not that it was neon, but it was brighter. Okay, so now let's apply some of this metallic wax paste. Okay, let's see if I make sure we don't have any questions. All right, I have made one truck with the old truck transfer. Want to do the new one soon? Yeah, because then you can do both sides. The old truck transfer is the same, it's just only going in one direction. So the new one has both directions, so you can do both sides of the truck if you're going to do a cutout. And of course you can lay our transfers on a sign. You could do a board and have two trucks coming together, or whatever you want to do with them. Okay, so now I'm going to add a little bit of this gold luster. And let's see which one like I said, I have, oh, this is champagne. I only have one. This is champagne. It's just, the gold luster is the gold luster. I was thinking that was two shades of gold, but it's not. So this is the gold. You can see how vivid it is. And I just take very, very little on my finger. And I just kind of just brush it and streak it down a little bit, just to kind of give it a little bit of jazz. It's pretty. And you may not even be able to see it on camera because it's ever so slight, but yet it's there. I don't know if you can see it. You can kind of see it like right in here. See it? You can see it shimmer. Yeah. So it's just kind of fun. And even like up on the top here, you can just brush it on. It just gives it a little bit of shimmer. It's kind of fun doing streaks. That's what I like to do it in. Okay. I'm going to do this side. It doesn't take much. See if you can catch it in the light there. Kind of see it. It will wash off your finger super easy. It's not hard to get off your finger, so don't be afraid of that. It's just jazzes it up ever so slightly on top of that vintage. It's kind of fun to mix a little metallic with your vintage. For me it is anyway. There, I like that. All right, so now our truck is pretty much done. And now we're going to kind of do the same thing with these. But I think I actually will paint the tops in a metallic craft paint. And then I may add some of this, kind of like I did on the truck. But let's see what this craft paint will do. I'm going to I have craft paint and metallic luster on my finger, and I tell you that metallic luster is going to come off a lot easier than the craft paint probably. But it's coming. It's both coming. All right. Okay. Now I'm going to take a new paintbrush, much narrower one. And I'm going to take, I got some metallic luster. This is Glorious Gold. And I'm going to just brush it here on the top. But just a little bit. And it doesn't really even need to be complete coverage. It could almost be like a stain too, you know, like a gold stain, if there's such a thing. I just kind of wanted to tone down that white, but yet I couldn't choose which color because, you know, that one has red, this is green, and this is orange and green, and I didn't want to pick one color over the other. Oops. So I'm just gonna go with gold. And I don't want it to be solid, so it's just kind of one light coat, and it'll look kind of like a gold stain. I think that's gonna look pretty sharp. Miss Carol that I'm making this for, she did get to watch the video. She was at work yesterday. She says she loves it so far, so that's great. As you can see, it takes a while because I'm putting a lot of detail into it, which is what I like to do. Okay, so let me get it. The light is so bright. You kind of see it there on top of our pumpkins and watermelons here. Kind of don't want the brush strokes to be seen. I'm just smoothing them out. Looks pretty good. Pop that in the water. Okay, I'm gonna let these dry for just a little bit, and then I might put some gold on the sides. Okay, sorry, maybe I won't since the gold's on the top. I'm gonna dry it. We'll dry it this way. We can handle them better. because you're awesome. Is that why I do it? All right, let's look at that. Okay. Make sure you can see it. Pumpkins and watermelons. Oh, I know what I was going to do. I was going to put some of the dark wax on tree and hearts. So we'll bring some of that red down to the base. So now we've got to go back to our bases and work on those. Let me just apply a little bit of this wax on the sides here, on top of our pumpkins. And that dark wax will bring out the, like the lines in the watermelons. The dark wax is going to bring those out a little bit more when you put that dark wax on. Because I told you about how the wax kind of collects along the edges. Because it's raised. So, I think that's dry on top. Okay, do the same thing with the tree. I feel like I'm not getting any on. There we go. And on the hearts. Okay, that looks pretty good. Put that away for now. Now we're going to go back to our bases, which are these right here. And I will want to wax on these too. I'll go ahead and just use the stained wax since, you know, it's a dirty surface anyway. Quote, dirty, old looking. So I'm going to wax on these. So when we put our transfer on, we don't hopefully have any issues. And if we do have a bleed through, it'll be easier to clean up if this is waxed. And I can't wax all four sides, but I'll just focus on the sides. And then if I do a finished wax on top of everything, then I'll do the whole piece. Sides, top, bottom, and ends. So right now I'm just going to wax the sides that we're going to chalk on with our transfer. Okay. Alright, we have it out. We'll go ahead and do this one. So it's ready to go. I mentioned yesterday that we're going to put some pattern in the background a little bit before we put the actual saying, the little quote that goes on it. We're going to jazz it up a little bit. Okay. I'll put this over here. And so on there, go back. Now we want to make sure that we put the pumpkin one, which is the fresh produce, and the welcome autumn on the same base. So we can just switch. And then when you switch to these for winter and Valentine, it'll have its own base. So just, you know, keep that in mind. It'd be much easier than switching out everything all the time. Don't forget, this month we are still having our Creative Kickstart program going on. If you purchase $75, you get to select $75 in product before shipping and tax. You get to pick out one of these transfers for free. If you buy $100 in product, you get to pick out two. And if you buy $125, you get all three of them for free. So check that out. I've had several customers taking advantage of that. Also, everything else was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, the free shipping and all that. So this is still going on for the whole month of June. The other promotion was just, and these are while supplies last. And then the other promotion was Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Okay, so let's pull out our little quotes. This is a transfer that has the transfer for all the little cutouts, the watermelon, pumpkin, tree, and hearts. Then it comes with these 4 sayings to put on these blocks. And we're going to pull those out. And we're going to do the fresh produce that goes with the watermelon on one side. And then we want the welcome to autumn to go on the other side. Then these 2 will go with the tree and the heart on the other base. All right. So I, of course, grabbed some patterns that I want in the background of these. And for fresh produce, I'm going to use a combination. And these are house patterns that come with that coordinate with our house cutouts. They have 4 different patterns, and I'm going to use bits and pieces of it. And for this one, Farm Fresh Produce, I'm going to use a combination of these 2. And I'm just kind of going to put spots of it throughout this little board here. So it's just a hint, and I'm probably going to do this in pesto. So this is going to coordinate with these watermelon pieces. And so I'm going to probably do this in the dark green pesto. And this, I just want them to be faintly in the background. So probably like with camel, dune, or grayish are going to be in the background. Or maybe even the like eucalyptus. Very light, very faint colors, because you want this to stand out. This is going to be in the dark green. So you don't want anything fighting against the dark green as far as in the same family of intensity of color. So you want your background to be more blending in with the color you got going on here. If that makes sense. In the same intensity of color. So I have some dune I will use, and let me see. The welcome's pumpkin, so I'll probably keep that to that, and I'll use the eucalyptus for Christmas one. I think I'll do, I think I'll actually grab some bark, some darker brown. And we're going to keep it in the brown family. Maybe the dune and bark. And you could put in the camel too if you wanted to. And okay, so I'm just going to do little bits of this lattice. And it's not going to be like full-blown pattern all the way across. We're just going to have spots of it because it's going to look like it's worn down. Just like the board is worn down. So you want that look. Hopefully that makes sense. So when I put this piece on here, I'm just going to kind of swash it a couple times and put pieces of it here and there. And then I'm going to dry it, and then we'll put a little bit of the vining on also, which to me kind of represents a watermelon vine, but even though the leaf shape might not be, you know, the same, but it kind of gives you that idea. That's what's in my head anyway. So, okay, I'm going to do this in the, lighter color, and we'll do the vining in the brown, because that would be more the color. Okay, so you can see how I just randomly put it on there? That's how I want it to look. And we're going to do it again over here. And some here on the end. Okay. So it's just kind of randomly on there. Almost like it's broken lattice, you know, old. Okay. So put that back on the backer sheet. I'm done with this one. I'm going to dry it. I'm going to put on some vines. And even after it dries, I'm probably going to sand it down to make it a little bit more smooth. because as you're building chalk layers, you know, they're going to keep building up layers of uneven thicknesses. So by the time you get to your farm fresh produce, you want that to be on a pretty smooth layer or level of surface so that you get a good print. So when this dries, I'm going to take my sandpaper and smooth it down. You'll still see the pattern. It just won't be, I mean, it's minute, but it won't be standing up as tall. So your next print will print on a smooth surface. So dry this up. You just want to make sure it's dry, because if you start sanding when it's wet, it's just going to smear your chalk paste. So make sure it's dry. And there's probably still a lot of moisture in this from all that watery paint, but I think we'll be all right. So I'm just going to lightly sand this down, and you'll be able to feel the difference. And another thing about being worn in vintage, if some of it does disappear, the pattern, that's okay, because you want it to look worn. And you got it a little bit smoother now, so our next layer is going to print better. Okay. Now we're going to take the vine, and I'm kind of thinking like almost, it doesn't have to be horizontal or vertical. It could be in other, like diagonally, maybe. And this time I'm going to do it in the brown. So I'm just going to scrape off my squeegee. I can just even use the same squeegee. I don't care if some of that dune comes into it. It's not going to matter, because it's very random and old and in the background. So it doesn't really matter. Okay, so I'm going to pick it up. I'm just going to lay it down and spread some more vines. And we'll do some here on the end. All right. I didn't even really wait for it to dry. Just so there's probably chalk paste on the back of this from overlapping, and that's okay, it'll wash off. Okay, so now we got this going on. Now remember, this is all going to be the background. We're going to put that green farm fresh produce on there, and this is just kind of going to fade in the background. Okay, so we want to dry that. Again, you want this dry because we're going to sand it down again, just like we did with the lattice. I'm calling it lattice, but okay. And take our sandpaper again and just smooth it down a little bit. And it kind of dulls that brown a little bit too, which is great, I think. You can see it's just ever so slightly in the background. I don't know if you can even see it. It's just kind of hanging there. It's awesome. Now, if you're really worried, I think it'll be all right, but you could even put a little wax on top of this just so that that sticky transfer doesn't pull up any of this chalk paste that we just put on. So just rub it back down, and that wax paste brings out the color again of that brown. Okay, so now we're ready for farm fresh produce. And you can, I've already used this, but if it's new, you might want to fuzz it. But I'm just going to lay it here, try to center it. I like to put it ever so slightly up. So when you're reading it, it's just raised a little bit so you can read it better. That's the only reason why I do that. Let's just measure here, 2.5 centimeters on the end of the ruler. Pretty dang close. All right. Just make sure it's straight as it can be. Smooth this out. We're gonna grab our pesto because this guy's going with our watermelon. So we want to bring that green back down here to the bottom, underneath our truck. Pesto it is. Watermelon growing on the vine. All right, it's got some little clumps there. I'm just going to smooth them off. Okay, let's peel this up, see what we got. Ooh, hopefully it's easy to read. I might have to, we'll see what it looks like. I might have to do it in black, but shadow the green under it. I might do that, just so I can read it better. It looks, it's a good print, came out well. It helped to have that sanded down. I'm gonna dry it. Kind of hard to read. Might shadow. We'll shadow the green and put the black on it. So shadowing is you line it up and then you move it slightly to the left or to the right. So you have that shadow of green. I'm going to move the transfer over to the left so the right side shows the shadow. So just a little bit because there's not a lot of spacing between the letters. And now I'm going to put black on it. And black goes with the tires on the truck, so it'll still be okay. I think it'll show up better. All right. Let's see if that comes up a little better. I think we're going to be able to read it much better. So you can see the difference. And you still see a little bit of green. Let me hold it up real close. See the green under it? So that looks a lot better. And I'm going to set my truck on it. And you'll see what I mean, how it's going to look good with the truck. Okay. And let's see if I can get my watermelons on it too. I better set it down. I don't have that dry yet. There. You see it? Like that. Doesn't he look cute? I think he's handsome. That's what I think. Looks really good. Cool, cool. All right. Let's dry it and then we'll flip it over and do the Welcome Autumn. All right. I always like doing that shadow effect anyway. I always think it looks cool. And sometimes I forget to do it on purpose. And here, not really being my first idea, not working out so good, the second idea came out even better. So, don't always be discouraged. Just rethink it. Because that came out really, really cool. All right. Pretty cool. All right, so for Welcome Autumn, for our pumpkins, right? This is gonna go on here. We need to do some background, or I need to do it, because I love it. I'm gonna do, I gotta find it. A pattern from last year. This is something that'll probably be more choices if you don't have any fall transfers at all. Come July, when our winter catalog comes out, you will have choices. But this one was these two pieces came together as one transfer. So we got pattern and we got words. It's called Thankful Blessed Pattern. So we're going to throw in some of this on it. And I think I'm going to do a little bit of this too. So kind of like we did the leaves, just kind of randomly do stuff. And I may even do the same colors. I might actually do, let me think. I might do the shadowing on this also. Shadow it with the curry underneath and then put the black on top, just like I did on this side with the green and the black. So on the underside, I'm going to still do browns and creams. I could do a hint of the red maybe, but let's just see what this does. And I'm going to do this kind of just splotches like I did with the lattice. And then overlay some of this on it. So just bring some of the fall coloring. I'm going to do just a teeny bit of this. And just like that. I'm just going to splotch some on there. And then I'm going to pick up back to Dune and just kind of, again with the random. Like that. Let's do some on this end and then we can do it in the middle. And this just brings a little bit of redness, which is also in her rug. If you remember, I She has a rug. Okay, and then we'll do some in the middle. Start with the It's kind of turning pink with that dune, so I'm going to wiping that off. Okay. So there it is on there. Just kind of random. We got to dry that. Sand it. And put a little bit of the autumn leaves on it. And since there's pumpkins on here, I got to keep the pumpkins kind of... I don't want to lay it this way because there's pumpkins on the batter, and I don't want the sideways pumpkins. So, again, I'm going to do the bark on this, just like I did with the vines. But like the pumpkin, I'm going to kind of fill in, just so it looks like a pumpkin. But the leaves, I don't care if they're just partial leaves or what. Okay, I'll do one over here. Three little acorns down here are cute. I'll fill those in so you can see the acorns. And then we'll do some in the middle. Back down here. So there, you can see the pumpkins and leaves, and they're kind of scattered around. And we'll sand this down too. So some of that will be kind of sanded off, worn off. That side for our pumpkins now, or watermelon. Now we're going to do the pumpkin side. And it says, "Welcome Autumn." Want this to look worn, especially this section in the middle. I did a lot more solid here, so I'm gonna rub some of that off. know it looks like I took a lot of it off, but once you put the wax back on, it kind of brings it back out. We'll see here. Okay, so I'm going to do Welcome Autumn in the curry color, and then I'm going to dry it and then shadow it. That'll be the shadow of black on top of that. I think that's what's going to show up best, just like we did on this side. Okay. Chalk paste on it. Okay. I'm going to grab this in the middle here. Looks pretty even. So I'm getting out my curry, which is a fall color. Hopefully it'll bring that back or something like it back for the fall. I think it's a must-have fall color. So hopefully they will. That fall catalog comes out July 6th. So just around the corner. All those silk screens filled in. Welcome Autumn. And like I said, this is going to be the undershadow of black. Okay. So I'm going to lay this over here. I'm going to put that back on as soon as this dries. A little bit. And I'm going to take a drink of water. Whew. All right, we're going to lay it back down and move it to the left a little bit so we have a smidgen of that mustard curry color peeking through the shadowing of this. Okay. More, just a little bit more. Okay. There. Welcome Autumn. You can see the shadow of the curry underneath it. All right. Looks great. We're done with Welcome Autumn. We're going to dry. You can see some pumpkins and leaves in the background. It looks pretty cool. buttons on there. Right. That looks pretty cool. I will also add some of the gold wax a little bit on here, just to kind of bring that gold down into here too. But let's go ahead and work on the other one. This is going to be the winter and Valentine's. So yeah. And for that, we have Over the River and Through the Woods and Loads of Love. So let's get those cut apart. And I'm probably just going to stick with black letter. This is a lot of skinny letters to shadow, so I'll probably just do black. I think the black lettering is showing up the best. So therefore I can put some light greens and browns in the background, and then just do that black lettering on top. So for that, let me get some of this stuff out of the way so we can move on. I think I got just used things in this pile. Looks like it. That goes over here too. This one is another double Christmas pattern in a size B that we had, and I'm going to pull out these here, little hollies and evergreens and berries on that. And do I want to do two patterns or just do this? Kind of leave the lines for that. So let's bring back maybe the, what was I thinking? I think I'll bring back this lattice look. It's kind of a good one. Maybe we'll just turn it a different direction. And I might do this in, let me think. I kind of want to bring this, that was eucalyptus that I used. Eucalyptus I used on the top of my tree. Where is my tree? Okay, so I used pesto and eucalyptus. So I'm going to bring some of that eucalyptus down here. And trying to think what colors I want to do. Gotta visualize, guys. Hold on. I think I want this to be kind of pesto-y. So I'll do this in the eucalyptus. Sometimes it just takes me a little bit to think it through. Thinking about matching this along. So I'm going to dry this real quick so I can line up the pattern. Sometimes I just have to be a little picky. Okay. So I'm not being overly random. I'm pretty much laying down the pattern. If it doesn't hit all the silk screen, that's okay. I don't mind it still looking kind of worn off, but I am going to lay the pattern all the way across. Just gotta line up the pattern. I'm going to press it down with my squeegee first, and then I'm going to squeegee on. Okay, cool. Lay this back down. So there it is on there. And, you know, a little bit didn't come right there, or it stuck to the back. That's okay. I'm going to kind of age this anyway. I'm going to sand it down. Yes. Have any more what?
Markers.
Say hi to everybody. Here's Miss Vivian. She's looking for markers. I just have them. Where did it? Since I moved in here, I don't know where I put everything, Viv. Look in this cupboard right over there. Now open those doors. Right there in front of your nose. Right there. Aha. Let's see. No, those are my Cricut ones, I think. Just use the Crayola ones. Yeah, there you go. Try to get some markers. Okay, just drying this so we can sand it a bit. Put some of these, push them back a little bit. They're getting dried out. Okay, so I'm going to sand just to smooth that layer down. I'm going to shut my door. Typical kid, doesn't shut the door behind her. Okay, so I sanded that down, smooth it down a little bit. Now let's put some of this holly pine pattern on it. And we're going to do that in randomly. Actually, I can go this way because this doesn't have any specific ups and downs. And I'm just going to hit and miss it with pesto, I think. And then we'll do the lettering in black. So hopefully it'll show up okay. I need a squeegee. Here's the pesto. Okay, so it looks just like this. It's not fully screened in. So it looks like that when it comes off. Okay, and I'm going to do it over here too. there we have it along the whole bar now. And dry and sand it smooth. We'll put on over the river and through the woods. Black. It might look sharp in Dune, actually. Maybe. I don't know if it'll show up. In the cream color, to me it all kind of represents snow. But I don't know if it'll show up with, I don't know. You could try it. If not, I'll just go over it in black. Hi to Lisa. How sweet is she? Karen, she's very sweet. I love my Miss Vivian. All my grandkids. Spruce trees is the proper name. Okay. I don't know what I said. I like a blue spruce kelp tree that kind of has that blue hue to it. We call them blue spruce here in the Midwest. I'm just going to knock some of this off. And I know it looks like a real mess right now, but once you brush all the dust off, see how dirty it looks now? Okay, so there it is. And I'm going to put some wax on it. It'll kind of bring out the color again, just like it did with the other bars. Let's see, it pops back out. Okay, I'm gonna try it with the white, the Dune off-white, and if I don't like it, I'll just re-chalk over it in black. We'll see how it shows up with the Dune. Just for something different. Okay. All right, see if it shows up. Actually, it does pretty well. I'm gonna leave it. I like it. I like it. I like it. We are done with this piece. Lay that over here in my pile. Isn't that cute? So again, we'll have our truck on it. And this time it's going to have the Christmas tree stacked on it. So you can see how cute that all looks together. Right? Love it. Awesome, right? I don't know which one's my favorite. They're all so cool. Okay, we're going to dry that, and then we're going to do the last side. And we've got to incorporate a little bit of this rosewood, bring it in our hearts. And keep in mind, She has this color red in her area rug. I'm custom making this for a customer, and she sent me a picture of her rug. So that's our colors that we're using. That one's really cute. That one's really cute. Can you see it up close? It's pretty cool. Okay, guys, let's do. I need that green dust getting on my white lettering. Now we gotta do our Valentine one. And I'm gonna throw in some of these lines and some hearts. So I don't really have a pattern necessarily, but I have some hearts, and we'll just kind of randomly put some hearts in the background. And I'm probably gonna do, let's see. I'll do the lines in gold shimmer, because that's the colors we used on here, was gold shimmer and rosewood. I think they call it rosewood. Yeah. And I don't know if rosewood's a current color right now. Couldn't tell you. I'm going to do it abstract. And I'm not going to do a full pattern of these lines. And most of these patterns I'm getting like this are from the house patterns. So I'm going to do this in gold shimmer. Find my gold shimmer. And like I said, I'm not going to fill in all of the silk screen. I'm just going to kind of do a little bit of it here and there, just to get a little bit of that gold in the background. And it hardly even shows up, which is fine. I don't care. So I think we'll do the dune color for the lettering again. So we're doing the darker background. That's kind of cool. I don't know if you can see it very well. See the lines in there? Just added texture. Okay. Now we'll throw in some hearts after we get this dried. Good morning, Carol. She's watching. Oh, Carol, we've done a lot. We've done a lot. We're on our last side of our 2 bases. We're working on the Loads of Love side. Now we're going to add some random hearts from, and I know this is retired, Homespun Hearts. Has just some different hearts in it. Let's see what we got. I'm mostly going to focus on the solid ones, I think. This one's cute. That one's cute too. Some of these I haven't even used. I'm just going to kind of randomly put some hearts on here. And then we're going to put the the word loads of love. Okay. Messed up that one. My squeegee's almost too big for these little pieces. Okay. I'm gonna dry those real quick. So we're getting some on here. I smudged that one. But I'm just going to put another heart in there, so or I'll just go over it again. Let's just go over it again. I smudged it. Like I said, I need a smaller squeegee. Okay. I kind of like these open hearts like that. Pretty cute. Might just do one smaller heart. This one here. Let's put him in the middle here. All right, I think we're done. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, done with hearts. Let's dry them, sand them down, put on our quote, and we'll be done. Hope I didn't freeze. Am I frozen? Maybe. Here we go. Okay, we're going to dry these hearts. Chalk paste dries a little lighter than it does when it's wet, so that's cool. Okay. It's pretty warm. Sandpaper again. Just kind of makes everything smooth. Even though that knocked off a lot of my gold underneath. But oh well. It's still there. Okay, I'm going to put a little wax over it, which will bring back the color. And now we're ready for loads of love, and we'll do that in Dune, just like we did over the river. I'm going to lay this on a towel with some fuzz on it. Just kind of eyeballing it. Probably this side is probably the lightest side in here. I'm putting on light colored chalk paste, but hopefully we'll still be able to read it. It's so cute. So cute. All right, super fun stuff right there. That's super fun stuff. I'm gonna dry it. Look at that. That is so cool. Dry. Cute. We're going to set our truck on that one. Put our hearts on it. Let's see if I can hold it here without it falling off. Isn't that cute? Right? Totally adorable. Here's the winter side. Okay, right? And then we have pumpkins. Right. Welcome Autumn. It's got the curry shadow underneath that black lettering. Pumpkins. I'm afraid I'm going to drop them. So cute. And here's the watermelon side. Flip it over. There. So fun. So fun. Love, love, love. The only thing I have left to do really is to just put some of this gold shimmer paste that we did earlier on the truck, and I'm just gonna put pieces of it or just brush on streaks of it just with my finger randomly across the top. I can get some on my finger. Just kind of stuff cool. You can just get it at, you can buy it from Deco Art's website, or you can just get it at your hobby craft stores. And then, you know, I might bring it down or go across here. I'm not sure. Let me go. Just put some of it in here, just to bring a little bit of gold. So you just kind of randomly place it. Okay, so that's all I got left to do. and it's gonna be cool. So thanks for chalking with me today. I got a lot of mess to clean up. That's the worst part, working with all these transfers. It is a wonderful project. I'm so happy with it. I'm starting to have to depart with it. I think I'm gonna have to make myself one. And of course I'll do it in totally different paper, although this would look awesome in my house too. It's pretty much the same color palette. So pretty cool. Oh, Carol, I know you're gonna love it. I'm excited for you to get it. And I will be shipping that off soon. Any other questions? I don't think so. Carol, okay, so cute. All right. The winter one is your favorite. And second is autumn. I know they're all so cool. It's hard to pick. So thanks for talking with me these last 2 days. Thanks, Carol, for giving me the opportunity to make this cool set of the Vintage Truck add-ons, Vintage Truck and their add-ons. So it's fun. Go out and get some, create, and have a great time. Happy chalking, and I'll chalk with you later. Bye.